Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Brock Talk. We made it to episode 3. Let's get a big heck yeah for that. Thank you to everybody who watched episode 2 of Brock Talk. I got a lot of nice comments and suggestions, so I really appreciate that. Right now, we're on our goal to number 7, so that's 7 episodes of Brock Talk. So we're at number 3, so, more progress than before. This is 2 more episodes we've made in the past year plus than when Brock Talk started. I started that sentence and didn't know where I was going with it, so that's why that didn't really make sense. I've got last episode, I've got my notes. I'm gonna just be periodically glancing down to look at them. So that's what I'm looking at when I'm like, hey, what's going on here? I'm looking at my notes. Let's see, suggestions. I noticed in my previous episode, I would start a sentence without really explaining what was going on or what I was talking about. For example, the what is a podcast topic. I started talking and I could tell in my brain when I thought of saying, what is a podcast? And I didn't say it, and I just kept talking. Maybe later I brought it up, so I need to be better about actually saying what I'm talking about. Kind of like what I said before, my mind moves faster than my brain sometimes, or my brain moves faster than my mouth, and I skip things to keep up with what my brain is thinking. So this episode is going to be similar to last week's episode where we share something maybe not personal, but a somewhat personal topic, I guess, and then we will kind of transition into some more fun fluff stuff to kind of send us home smiling. Like I said the last time, baby, I'm just saying the stuff I said last time. If you haven't already, please leave a like, share the episode, tell your friends about the channel. Please subscribe if you haven't. We're close to our goal of 140 subscribers. I believe we will get there. And tell your friends. And all right, without further ado, let me get into my first topic, which is somewhat of a rehash of what I've been saying for the entire month of January. I'm not entirely sure what to do with my YouTube channel. Like I said, I brought this up a little bit in the last episode, but I am very passionate about YouTube. I'm passionate about watching YouTube videos, making YouTube videos, being a part of the community and everything like that. And I do have a goal for my channel, or several goals, right? One of them is reach 140 subscribers, right? And another goal I want is for this to be a fun, relaxing, cozy channel. If somebody just had a stressful day at work and they're like, oh, new Big Hat video, let's go. This is a nice way to spend my evening. Or, maybe when someone wakes up, it's a nice little, it's part of their morning routine to watch one of my videos. Maybe they're on their lunch break. Things like that. Just something to help, lower the volume, chill things out. That's what I want to do. But I kind of realize that I don't know exactly what YouTube videos I want to do. It's almost like something kind of like if I wanted to go to college and I'm like, oh, I want to go to college and learn, but I'm sitting here like, but what do I learn? Or if I'm trying to lose weight and instead of thinking like, okay, I'm going to do this exercise and work out this thing, I'm just like, well, I know these exercises help, but which ones should I do? Take, for example, my friend Snurp on YouTube. That's SNURP. Great guy. We collaborated for some Halloween videos back in October 2024. Check him out on YouTube. That's at Snurp on YouTube. He wanted to make videos about video game ambiences, and he's done that, and I think that's really cool. And he's really focused on that work model or those kinds of videos, for lack of a better term. And so then when I think of my channel, I'm kind of scrambling every week to think of a new idea, and I like having a variety. I like that people enjoy the book videos and the video games and this talking, but I'm trying to be more focused on like what exactly do I want to do. Now I'm really happy with the views that the me taking a deep dive of the Xbox marketplace. I enjoyed that. Like little ideas like that. I kind of just randomly thought of, and I was like, oh, we'll do this. If it doesn't turn out all that great, that's that's fine. But I'm happy with how that turned out. Hang on, I'm losing my train of thought. Let's go to my notes real quick. Oh, okay. So one thing I noticed, one big trend right now I've seen on Instagram and like social media in general and TikTok is like nostalgia. A lot of nostalgia videos, and I've watched a bunch of those. I've been a part of that, so I thought maybe like uploading older videos, not older videos, but me playing older games, or trying to hit that nostalgia by playing some of the older stuff, which I kind of have. I do kind of like that idea, but again, I'm not sure exactly how to get to that. There's a couple games I'm playing now that I'm always like, maybe I should just record this. But and then I don't. I definitely think having a schedule and committing to that schedule would be very good. That would be very helpful, but I'll be honest, I don't. I go through phases where I have like this. I'm like, this week I'm really committed. I'm like, I'm editing videos, making the thumbnail, putting it up, and then like 2 weeks later, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I kind of just don't feel like doing it, which isn't great. I need to be more committed. I remember I saw this picture of, not this picture, but it was this post of Kobe Bryant, and it's 6 pictures of Kobe Bryant. And say whatever you want about Kobe. That's not so much what we're here to talk about, but it's the same picture of Kobe taking this shot, and it says like Kobe when he's happy, Kobe when he's sad, Kobe when he's tired, Kobe when he's stressed out. And it's like, no matter what, he's putting in the work, sad, happy, confused, whatever. He's putting in that work. So I'm trying to be like that, trying to be more, no matter what, just do it. Also, hang on, I have some notes about this. Okay, and one thing I noticed is that a lot of people use videos now for background noise. A lot of people are looking for background noise, which at first really annoyed me because I was thinking like, hey, like someone put a lot of work into this video and you're not even going to look at it. You're just going to play it and half pay attention to it. What if you miss like a really funny moment, or they put in a really funny edit that you didn't see because you were just had it on in the background? But more recently, I've kind of chilled out on that, and I've just thought like, because I realize I put a lot of videos on in the background as well. And at the end of the day, if somebody's watching it, whether they're actually watching it with their eyes or listening to it, if it's playing on YouTube, then, something, we did something right. So I try to remind myself to be passionate about the video, care about the video, but also know that, people are just looking for something to watch, right? Sometimes it doesn't have to be the greatest video I ever made. I could put 1 hour into a video or 100 hours into the video. Regardless, people are just trying to get that background noise, have something playing for them. So I try to remind myself that, just like, hey, just make it. Not sometimes, but I can't critique or build upon something or improve something if there's nothing to begin with. So I just have to get started. Just have to sit down, record, and just go from there. That's kind of, not kind of, that is one of the biggest things there. That seems about it for that topic. I think I hit all of my important points. I'm just going through these one more time. Yeah, I don't know. That's the gist of it, though. Like, I'm happy people like the book videos and the videos of me playing video games. But it's, again, I hate saying it's hard work, but I think it's more difficult than people realize. I remember this line from the Logic song Lord Willin', where he says, I can't remember exactly how the first part goes, but he says something like, I'm out here busting my ass, they probably think it's automatic. And I'm like, yeah, I guess like from my perspective, when people make video games or make music or these things, I typically would tend to think like, oh, they just go into the booth and start recording. They just go to the movie set and say action, and it's just naturals for them. And for some people it is, but then I have to remember like, oh no, like a lot of hard work and a lot of time and hours goes into this. So I just I don't want to say that as like I hate being like I'm the struggling artist. Oh, my life is so tough because I have to think of YouTube videos. Like that's not it. It was just kind of I just wanted to share like a realization of like, oh wow, okay, this is tough. There's actually a lot more that goes into this. This is not as easy as it looks. I'm actually gonna look up those lyrics right now because it's bothering me that I can't think of it. I'm trying to type on my phone. Logic, Lord willing, give me the lyrics. This is an underrated Logic song off of a really good album. I'm going to go to genius.com. I respect Genius. They always get that stuff right. Okay, the first part, I just realized I looked it up, and the first like line doesn't exactly go with it, but yeah, I've been busting my ass. They probably think it's automatic, right? Like, so the point of that was that there's a lot of hard work goes into this. I kind of lost my train of thought with that. But let's move on to our next topic here, which is a very hotly debated topic, or rather something people are passionate about maybe, which is physical media. And what am I talking about? Physical media versus digital media. What am I talking about with that? So it's between owning a book, a video game like the case, and as well as like a movie, like owning the case and the disc and actually having that physically in your possession, so to speak. Now I just want to, of the three, we'll talk books first. I will always own a physical book. That's kind of it. I don't really like reading things on a screen for the most part. I read, like, obviously video games sometimes has text to read, but that's not like an entire book. So I understand why people have books on their Kindles or their tablets or whatever, but I've just always been a physical book fan. And to my limited understanding, I guess physical books are selling really well, which I'll circle back to that at the end of this conversation, or rather when I give my takes on the others. But for a long time, for most of my life, I was like a diehard physical media fan. And yeah, I would watch stuff on Netflix and Amazon and all that, but I was always like, I want to own a physical copy of this someday. I like having that collection, having all the cases together is fun. It's fun to pull out the case and, talk about it. And, being a kid when, oh man, the lighting's getting real weird right now. Sorry about that. But it was really fun being a kid when my parents would buy me a new game and I could like read the back of it on the ride home, and I could like look at the pictures and be like, I'm going to do this soon. Like I'm going to play this and, do this soon. And then I'd say my opinions started to change pretty drastically around 2020 when the pandemic started, when the pandemic was really hitting us in the United States. And it was just really nice. I bought a game digitally, and it was really nice to go from, it was Doom Eternal. And just like start up the PlayStation, play it. Someone was like, hey, you want to play this game? I think it was Fortnite. I also had it on digital. Just jump on over to Fortnite, then Call of Duty, jump over to that. I'm just sitting down. I don't have to get up and take the disc out, put it back in the case, get the new case. Great first world problem to have, by the way. But there was a nice convenience with that. And slowly since then, I've been like, yeah, I don't, I'm good with digital stuff now. I don't want physical media to go away completely, but I'm definitely not buying physical cases of movies or games as much, nearly at all. Now, I think I bought something, an older like PlayStation game, or maybe an older 360 game from like a local like thrift video game store, but those I don't buy as much. Now I definitely see that appeal, like for the reasons I said earlier. But another thing is I've moved a lot, like physically moved, like from house to house, from apartment to apartment, wherever. I've helped other people move a lot, and maybe that'd be different if I had been staying in one place for most of my life or not moving a ton. But as I'm older, I'm like, dang, like, the more stuff I have, the more stuff I have to move and, keep up with, and it kind of turns into a Tyler Durden situation, Fight Club. He's like, the things we own end up owning us. And I certainly don't want to lose the stuff I have, but I also feel like as I get older, I'm trying to focus on what's the most important things in my life. What can I live with, and what can I, hang on, how do I want to say this? Like what can I live without, I guess, right? Like if I lost all my movies, it'd be sad, but like I'd still be okay. That's not the most important thing in my life. I'm passionate about them, yeah, but it's also not, I would put those up on like a pedestal, honestly. Like buying movies, all that was like a ritual. That was a religion. And now I'm still not as passionate about it, but I'm also like, okay, I don't need to be that serious. Also, I would buy like any game and any movie. Like almost every movie I saw in the theaters I would get. And I'm very, well, actually, okay, I can be very harsh with movies. But I would say most of the time, I don't know. I'll just say that at one time I was buying almost every movie I saw in the theater. And sometimes when I look back at my collection, I'm like, there's some weird movies in here. Did I really need to get this movie? And so I need to work on that. I think special edition cases are fun. I like that. But then it comes down to like owning it. I guess I should have brought this up earlier, but we're just going to keep rolling. So I believe there was a comment from the Ubisoft CEO or an important member of the Ubisoft team, Ubisoft, a video game company. And he said something to the likes of gamers need to be okay with not actually owning their games, which first off is like a stupid thing to say, whether you meant harm with it or not, or negative or whatever you meant, dude. Your PR team should have freaking figured that out for you. But it is in the back of my mind when I buy something digitally, like if there is no internet or if this company somehow goes under or whatever happens, those games are gone and it's going to be very difficult to play them again. There's some games I look back on that I had on the original Xbox that I'm like, man, I wish I could go back and tell my kid self, hey, don't get rid of that. Like, we need that. All kinds of stuff. Like I used to have a DS. I don't have the DS anymore. Looking back, it's like, dang, the DS is like impossible to find. It'd be nice to have that right now. But when it comes to owning it, then we can debate on like, do we really own anything, right? Do we take things with us when we die? And I feel like that might be a topic for a different time. But I've also realized like a lot of these games and movies, I'm not watching them every day. I'm not playing them every day. It's really nice when the time comes for me to watch or play them and they're just there. I can just pop the disc in and play it. But I've kind of become okay with just like, I can watch this, I can get my fill of it, but I don't have to take it with me anywhere. I believe I hope that this is related, but it's something that I've just thought about. I guess this isn't so much physical, but I've been reading about artists, like musical artists, selling their catalog of songs, like selling their whole library to, whoever for whatever use they want. Like, famously Michael Jackson bought the entire Beatles catalog, which I don't know why, but that's unique. I was listening to the lead singer of Sum 41, well, formerly, I guess Sum 41 is kind of done now. They're on like their farewell tour. But he was talking about selling his catalog. And then there was the YouTuber Matt Pat who sold his YouTube channel. And a part of me is just like, when in relation to physical media, sometimes I do think like what if all the games were gone? What if all the movies were gone? What if all the books were gone? On one hand, it's like, dang, like, I paid for some of that stuff. Like, I don't want to just lose it. But then it also feels freeing almost. Like, oh, we can start new, or we could just say, hey, we had our fun, we had our chance, but time to move on to something new. That there's a small part of me is like, there's something freeing about that. And so I don't know. I'm in a bit of a weird place about it. But outside of movies and games, as of today, I'm sticking with mostly digital media, and maybe every once in a while I'll buy a movie, but like a lot of times I'll watch a movie now and I'm like, that's really good, and then I won't watch it again for many years, and typically at that point it's already on streaming. So, oh, okay. I was just reminded of the thing I was gonna say. So when I started this topic, I said that to my limited understanding, physical books are outselling physical games and media by or games and movies. No games. I don't know about movies. They're outselling them very fairly well. In fact, they're doing really well. And I was trying to think, why is that? And I saw one person on YouTube leave a comment that was like, well, the case isn't really necessary. That's not what they said it, but I feel like that's what they meant. And I thought about it, and I guess it's true in a way. Like when I get a book, right, it's got the cool cover and the pages, but I'm using it to read. When I get the case is almost kind of just like a thing that carries a disc. And they don't put cool booklets in the cases anymore. They don't make the cases look cool anymore. I feel like most of the cases are like I know there are artists working hard on them, but some of them I just feel like the effort isn't quite there, or the attention to it. Like it seems like bit by bit that is being forgotten, which I also would say art in itself is slowly being like taken for granted and forgotten. But the book itself is necessary. Like if I buy a book and then throw it away, I can't read it. If I buy a game and I throw the case away but keep the disc, I can still play the game. If I throw the disc away and I have the case, then that's a waste of time. To me at least. Oh man, the lighting's getting all weird again. Whatever. Like I said before, we're just gonna upload it and deal with it later. Maybe in the future, if this whole YouTube thing works out, I can look back at this and be like, man, what was I thinking with that lighting? I look like I'm shining. Like it's not that bright outside. So I just think I don't really have a solution for it now that I think about it. It does just seem like things are going digital, and that's just the way it'll be. Also, it's kind of annoying. Like, I guess this was inevitable, but it's like buying a physical disc. It used to just be like pop the disc into the console or whatever and play, and now it's like it takes a minute to install, and like it almost seems like the disc is an extra bit that I don't need at this point. So why even have the disc if I can just buy it digitally and skip that part? And with movies, it was like, man, not every movie, but a lot of movies had a really fun DVD menu. Like if you have never seen like the Star Wars DVD menus, like Revenge of the Sith or Attack of the Clones, well, even the original trilogy when they put those on DVD, just like the Aliens DVD menu, the same thing with like Ghostbusters, like those are really cool DVD menus, and every time you went from like scenes or extra features, special features, there would be a cool transition. Now it's like they've dumbed all that down, and you kind of lose that. And the same thing with talking about streaming services. Like I remember in 2022 when the show Better Call Saul ended. Now I'm not going to talk spoilers, but I remember like the bumpers right in between. Like there's the show, there's the bumper, then there's the commercial break, bumper, show. There was like these specialized bumpers saying like, this is the final episode of Better Call Saul, and this cool little like animation that I assume will become lost media, or it might as well already be lost media. I'm like, man, that's all part of the experience. That's all fun. Like when we watch something, when I watch something on Netflix that isn't there, like those bumpers and whatnot aren't there, and that kind of like that adds to it. But I guess there's no way to bring it back, maybe, so I should just let it go. I guess I don't have a resolution to this conversation like most things. I'll just end it by saying right now I'm sticking with digital media, but I don't know, maybe physical will come back. I know people just hate how many different streaming services there are, and I'm kind of with you on that. At first it was like get streaming services, save money on cable, bit by bit. All these streaming services, it's almost like we're paying for cable again. So I don't know, man. Look, I'm just trying to drink some Mountain Dew and play some games and watch some stuff. All right. But I guess that pretty much sums it up. Yeah, I do wish that video game stores, like a bookstore, is a nice, cozy place. Like, I love Barnes and Noble. Is it like a chain restaurant? Like, there's a Barnes and Noble all over the place? Yeah, but there's something just the environment, the vibes. People are all about vibes as well. Like, that is so nice. Like, video game stores, I mean, everything went corporate, so like that's the reason everything's lost its life and it's fun. But there just needs to be like a super fun video game store of like a place for gamers to just chill out, talk some games, have some fun, and play some games. Maybe, the one problem, not problem, but another thing facing the video games is that people are playing games on their phone, or like they don't really have a reason to go out to the store anymore. It's like that whole kind of experience has been lost. So if I could snap my fingers, somehow like have there be like a little gaming lounge, have there, you can buy sodas or whatever, like buy some snacks and have a little setup if you want to just chill. Maybe you could like reserve the place. I don't know. I guess I haven't thought that out, but I think that would help. That would help gaming stores. Like give people a reason to go there. Have it be a fun place to just hang out. I'm finally going to end that topic. And we're going to move on. All right, we're moving on hardcore right here. Okay, thank you to the user Vast Chalice. That's a good buddy of mine. He left a comment with a bunch of stuff he wanted me to talk about. I'm going to get to one of those things right now. He asked me, what did I think of the first college football 12-team playoff? So, I feel like I'd say it was a net positive. It started off with a lot of blowouts, but that's kind of, I hate to be cynical, but that's kind of how not just the college football playoffs, but college football is. It's impossible to tell sometimes when a game is going to be good. There's so many different factors into how teams get the best players and what team is peaking when. So like all the time I feel like, with the 14 playoff, it's like these are the top 4 teams in the country. And then it's like, oh, really, it was 2 good teams, and we're just waiting for those 2 good teams to play each other, and the other teams don't have a chance. And so I had a bad feeling that if we went to 12-team playoff, it would be like, okay, well now we're just waiting for those 2 teams to play again, except now there's 10 more teams. But that, I think, is kind of an overly cynical way to look at it, and there was a lot of good college football games, right? Like I'd argue the national championship was good. And then, but like Penn State, Notre Dame, that was a good game. Arizona State, Texas was a good game. Texas, Ohio State was a good game. Notre Dame, Georgia was a good game. So outside of that, I mean, that's a majority of the games. So I'd say it was a net positive. I think having 12 is a little annoying, though. I kind of wish they had just done like 6. But I mean, we'll see. I feel like they had to do 12 with how much players are just skipping right to the NFL draft, or with how much people are transferring. I think they had to do 12 to like kind of force people to play more. And with 12 games, that's more games to play and an easier chance for these bigger name schools to get their kids to the national championship. And now we're still seeing people transfer. We're still seeing people go to the draft, and they have every right to do that. It's not my favorite decision, but also like I've never had those options in front of me. So who am I to be like judging them for something I have never had to deal with in my life? Most likely they'll keep it, and they'll probably expand it. Like I don't think they should, like, but that's just like so much college football. I know. I think people should. How do I want to say this? People should be allowed to do whatever they want. Okay, so if a kid wants to go to college, and all they're focused on doing is going to the pros, fine. Do it. But it does seem like with a 12-team playoff, like this season was forever. Like it was so long. And that's good, but man, I'm like, I feel for these kids. Like, how are they supposed to study up for college and then also play these games? Now, maybe some of them aren't even going to class. Some of them we don't know what's going on with that. But it just seems like bit by bit the college part of it is being forgotten, and the sports part is the taking front and center. Now, to be fair, how many times have I tuned in to see people take a math test? Never. I'd probably never would. But it just seems like we're really just murdering these kids with all these games they have to play. Like, it's not even like, save that for the pros. Like, that's how the pros is. Like, there's no reason to have this many games. But I mean, I guess they had to do, like I said, they had to do it to stop the people from leaving and transferring. But it just feels like way too much. Another frustrating part of it was, I remember Joel Klatt going over what schools were getting the best recruits, and it showed that this like list, I can't remember exactly like the who came up with the list or where it came from, but the graph showed that the teams that make the playoffs are getting the best players. And so when only 4 teams are making the playoffs, typically in college football, it's a consistent same 5 teams that are in the mix. Only those 5 teams are getting the best players. Now, typically, in college, the best players go to the best schools. A lot of times the rich get richer, whereas in the NFL, they have the draft where they spread out. The best player goes to the worst team so that the worst team could maybe get better. But then we don't know who's going to be the best player anyway. So, but in relation to college football, if you have a 12-team playoff, you have more opportunities for higher star recruits to go to more schools that you wouldn't typically see. Like, think about all the schools we wouldn't have seen this year. Most likely, SMU would not be in the playoffs. Notre Dame would not be in the playoffs. Ohio State would not be in the playoffs. All these teams, not that, well, Ohio State was one of those kind of rich get richer schools. But the point more being that now more schools, if you have a good year, you can get on a bigger stage and have a chance to get higher star recruits, get more traction to the school. But the whole thing secretly is a mess, I think. And like, as far as college football goes, college athletics, NIL, all that jazz, like, it's a huge storm, it's a huge mess, it's the wild, wild west, but I'm just someone watching football. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that I liked it. I think it was a success, but I wish they had done 6. All right. Well, anyway, that seems to be it. That seems to be it. This was episode 3 of Brock Talk. I just remembered some other current events. Maybe next episode I'll get into some more recent news and some current events that I thought of. I'm just decided to end it now. What is it? We're at like 35 minutes. My fridge just turned on, so that's the go home signal. Anyway, I've been your host, BigHatBrock. Thanks to everybody for watching. Please subscribe. Please tell somebody subscribed. Thumbs up the video. Do all the fun stuff. Remember, please comment to tell me, hey, what do you want me to talk about? Is there anything you think I could do better? And all that jazz. But we're one step closer to episode 7 of Brock Talk as well, and hopefully we can continue after that. All right, everyone. Have a good night and or a good day, good evening, good morning, whenever you're watching this, and I will see you guys in the next video. All right, peace.